Yeah, so what I've just done, I just took it with the utility knife and I cut a corner off, so now we can get to the pump real easily without lifting the lid. And I left part of the underside on of the surrounding lid part so that it'll just sit down here and it will keep everything closed up and covered up. And so now we can install the pump and put in the supply lines. What we're going to do now is install the Eco 264 submersible pump. Bought it at Amazon.com. It'll pump enough for these 6 totes, these 6 Dutch buckets, no problem. And I've already put on the 1/2-inch line. You just put on some Teflon tape and then screw it down in there. And I put about a 24-incher on there so it would protrude up enough out of the tote. And now we want to take and put on some Teflon tape. And the way you install Teflon, you put it on in the same direction that you're going to be screwing the device on. And what we're going to be putting on here is a manifold that will work with the 1/4-inch lines. And you put about 3 wraps and just pull it tightly, and that's all you've got to do. 2 or 3 wraps is enough, and that fills in between the threads. And this little jewel here is each of these 1/4-inch lines on this manifold can turn off or adjust down, so you can adjust the water flow. Because on a new tomato plant, you don't have a lot of roots, so you don't need a lot of water flowing. You just need enough to keep the roots wet, and then as the root system grows, you can open it up more. But this is a 1/2-inch threaded pipe insert here, and this is 1/2-inch pipe, and it just goes down. You just screw that on snugly. We can always tighten it a little more if we need to later, but pretty much that's not going to leak. And then the next step is we'll put the pump, and it has suction feet on it, so when it sticks down on the bottom, it's going to hold tightly, and you want it on a level surface. I've already taken the steps to make this surface level here, and I cut a little notch so that the electric cord can come out, and then our top that I cut back, I've notched it out. So when it all sets in, it's just going to hold in place just like that, and that's all that needs. And then it'll work real well. And so, well, the other thing I need to do, I've got to get it over a little bit further there, and then it'll hold in place. And I may have to put a little piece of tape or something on that, but that's how that works, and that's the next step. And then we'll take and run the 1/4-inch lines up to the Dutch buckets after this. Because now we only need 1/4-inch lines straight out of here instead of running a 1/2-inch pipe, poking little holes in it, and having the potential for leaks all over the place. This is not going to leak. Well, we've got the pump in place, and I've started to put in the 1/4-inch lines. I've got my 1/2-inch by 2-foot long pipe already screwed in place, and what I'm going to do now is connect the black plastic 1/4-inch lines. And what I'd like to do is just heat them up. I've got an inexpensive heat gun, and I'm just going to heat it up a little bit until I see the ends start to soften. Doesn't take very much. And then I can just real gently push it on, push it in place in the barb fitting. You've got a little bit of time. You just push it up until it completely goes up. If it needs a little bit more, you take and finish pushing it up. That one failed. So what I'm going to do is cut it, you know, because life is like that sometimes. Nothing's perfect. So I'm going to heat it up again, and I'm going to heat it where it's a little bit warmer down lower too. And this one ought to go on real nicely. So we take and just push it right up on the barb. There we go. And just till it starts to spread a little bit. Just let it set. It'll cool off rather quickly. And now I'm going to get the 1/4-inch line behind the drain pipe, because I want this all to be back under, not visible. And now I'm going to straighten out the drain pipe because it's all curly. So you just heat it up with your torch or your lighter or your heat gun here until it's where you want it and it's not curly anymore. And then we'll take and cut that off right about there. And then what I want to do, I want to put a 90 barb on there. So I've got to heat this up again because I don't just want to bend this into the little 1/2-inch pipe that I'm going to stick down in the perlite by the tomatoes. I want it to have a natural bend in it like this. So I'm taking and I'm pushing the plastic pipe right up over there. And see, that will go right there now. And then we can take and put a line on. And so that's what I'd like to do now. I'd like to cut a little piece of line. And we'll put the first one on. And the rest of them go just like that. We just have to heat this one end up. And I know it's soft enough there. When you're doing this yourself, you can actually see the end of the plastic just get real soft. And then time to twist it a little bit. There, I just pushed it up on there. And then you take your 1/2-inch pipe a couple inches away from the plant and just push that down to where the roots are. And this is going to go in there and it should stay in there real nicely. If it doesn't, I'll do a little tie or something. But I'll finish that on all 6. I already have the 1/2-inch pipes in these. And then I've got my lines ready, so all I have to do is finish that little 6 or 7-inch section of 1/4 inch of plastic pipe, and then they'll be ready to fill up the tote, put the nutrient solution in, and see how she runs.